And it looks like we're live. A little bit of Scott's weather. We got to do a little opening, let a few folks show up, and then off we go. Here we go. Hey everybody, Scott Stevens here with a look at a little bit of weather, a little bit of other stuff that's going on around that it's at least geophysically related one way or another, or at least remotely so. And we'll show you why I use that word remote in a moment. Uh, kind of quiet as we head towards the 4th of July. We've got a couple of clusters or what we call mesoscale complexes, or MCS in meteorological lingo speak. Formed last night in Nebraska, Iowa, and then just kind of sagged southward on a rather gentle northerly breeze, kind of soaking some places that could use some water. So that was certainly welcome for those folks. And then Canada, we've kind of hit there for a couple of times, and we're going to look up there where Calgary, Edmonton, and those kind of locations are in line for a lot of water in the next little while. So let's get rolling. We got a few folks in the crowd, at least one or two for now. So let's get doing this. I'm going to start with Twitter and kind of scan the Twitter feed to see what some of the meteorologists and the other weather professionals out there have their eyes on, what they've kind of isolated out of the data. And we'll bring you into that. Good to see you guys there. But I kind of want to start with NASA's Goddard Space Center. And can you believe it or not? It's been 30 years in orbit. NASA's Hubble telescope has revealed astonishing secrets about our universe. Yet, while its most famous pictures may reveal galaxies and nebulae across the cosmos, it's also unlocked secrets here in our own solar system, and that's really kind of the cool thing. I remember that being launched up in the space shuttle, and that was 1990, I believe, and it was then incredibly disappointing to the lens. Its primary mirror had been misfigured, meaning it was off no more than the width of a couple of hairs. But the mirror on this thing is, I think, 84 inches in size, so it's a big primary mirror. And then with that kind of an error in how the mirror was shaped, they got a fuzzy picture at the camera up top. So they had to literally manufacture another device, another lens to go in between the mirror and then the receptacle where the cameras sit. And that mirror probably no larger than the size of a mouse, but it reconfigured or realigned the light, and it's been just a darling ever since. It's got some gyroscopes that kind of keep it able to point, but it was not supposed to last 30 years. It wasn't supposed to make it this long. And since we haven't had space shuttles going up there to repair it for nearly 10 years now, it truly is on its last gasp. So we'd be grateful to get a replacement, which would be the James Webb Telescope out there. And then that's doing the little spacewalk thing. And ET for extraterrestrial or extra, just outside the spacecraft. But anytime up there, I'm always looking off into space to see what just happens to float on by. Something else from space as we look at a burn scar north of Tucson, Arizona, seen by the Aster instrument on the Terrace satellite. And the blaze spans more than 114,000 acres and right now is just at 45% containment. So that is just one of the contributing fires to the area. No fires outside of Riverton, Wyoming, where they got a nice dose of fresh snow on some of that terrain. But what caught my attention from these pictures was the condition of the forest and the trees. And because we've gone through numerous years where we don't get a cold enough to kill those beetles in western Wyoming, where 50 below used to be a regular occurrence, and that just hasn't happened in years. And so the forests have taken a hit. As a result, All right, look at all these petaflops. And from NOAA research, NOAA's Hera supercomputer was recently rated among the top 500 in the world. Hera helps NOAA advanced weather modeling, build ocean ecosystems, forecasts, and more. And we did just get a nice grant from the Department of Commerce wherein we can upgrade some of these computer systems. The United States is woefully behind, to put it kindly, in how we have invested in our infrastructure. It has been nearly a decade since we've had a nice big chunk of change to come on in. And would you like to be running the computer you had 10 years ago and continue to put more and more demands on it as more and more data becomes available? But that's kind of where we are with the nation's computers. All right, fireworks across the nation being canceled due to COVID-19. How will you be celebrating your 4th of July? That is this coming Saturday. And for those of us who haven't had the regular job in a while, all these days, and especially with social distancing and stay-at-home orders kind of blending, it's Friday? Now, our local store will be closed on Friday, and they're closed anyway on Sunday now for COVID. So if you need to do some local shopping at them, or get there by Friday. All right, Stu Ostro. This is kind of a crazy GIF. I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in too much, but this is Missouri, actually southern Missouri. You can see the cirrus outflow blowing out ahead of the incredible complex of thunderstorms. It was a good rain maker for portions of Nebraska, Missouri, and now rolling through Arkansas and Tennessee this evening. All right, something to take note of is how warm the Western Atlantic and the GOM, the Gulf of Mexico, from climatology coverage, even for entering July. We'll have to watch this closely as we get closer to the peak season. And then these little digits here are temperatures of the water in degrees centigrade. So we've got 30, which is 86 Fahrenheit off of Naples, 32 off of Tampa, St. Pete, and then mid to upper 80s. It is that 30-degree isotherm that is crucial for getting the energy available to get hurricanes and those tropical storms going. So that kind of heat right now concentrated from Cuba on up towards the Florida Peninsula, not as much farther west, but nevertheless with waters in and around Puerto Rico around 84 Fahrenheit or 29 Celsius. They're not far away. And then this is the anomaly, how far we are off of normal. Even the top of the scale is just 5 degrees. That is Celsius, though, which would be 9 Fahrenheit. And then a little bit below normal as we get into the Gulf of Mexico. So you can easily see that Gulf Stream streaming off the coast of the southeastern United States. All right, who's ready for the heat to return to the Northeast? And MJ says, no, not him, as the heat kind of will settle in back east, the Mountain West and the Northern Rockies and Western Canada likely to remain unsettled. This takes us through the 10th of July. And that's just from the 6th to the 10th, and then another one of these cool action form clouds as they spiral. This one headed towards the Hawaiian Islands. We've got such amazing satellites now. I got to be honest with you. I would love to so be in college and just be a weather geek and have the time to just really dive into all of these things and then kind of choose a career to do out from that. All right, so where do meteorologists go after work? Oh, the isobar. They're sending out goofy weather jokes. Wondering what those squiggly lines on the maps are? Yeah, those are lines of equal constant pressure, that being the isobar. And then an re-evaluation of some of the data that has been used in years and almost decades past now, how this Michael Mann hockey stick graphic, indicated that the climate is doing this. When as we go back and reevaluate the data, this tends to be more the function. This is kind of an in-depth paper that I still haven't completely gotten through. I just came across it this afternoon, and there just isn't time to do it all. There are currently no active tropical cyclones anywhere in the world. This is a weather extreme, but not the kind that sends people into panic mode. And so here we are beginning 1 July, and this is a little bit unusual that there's just nothing happening across the globe. It's not a bad thing. That means we can enjoy the weekend without a little goofiness. And then, for all the weather stuff, all crazy stuff going on, it's, the world, it's some kind of show. And we need a lot of popcorn for that. All right, guys, there you are, popping over there. Yeah, that is quite the computer system, Karen. I wouldn't know what to do with all that processing power. And a lot of cloud cover. As a scuba diver, we call that warm water bath water. Not a grin, but gin. Grin to get in or gin to have a sip of. Yeah, dry in the southwest. All right, so we're going to have a look at one particular location. Actually, there's two or three we could look at. One is this high sitting from the Great Lakes states. Here's North America here. This is the global view. You can see in the tropics that there's not much as far as the jet stream. Most of the winds that they deal with in the tropics happen to be below about 12,000 feet. They're in the trade winds, who are much, much lower, and we're looking at about 18,000 feet. So there's two events here that kind of had my attention. One is the high that was sitting up over Siberia, kind of giving them the heat. Number two is the cool that is in the western and northwestern U.S. Number three is this blocking ridge that is keeping this storm from progressing any further. And it really kind of is when you've got a big storm here and then another one right next to it, there's no for this one to go. It is completely hemmed in by this ridge and this then storm. There's a lot of energy, and if this jet stream is making a huge U-turn, then there's no energy going this way to push on through. The other thing of note is kind of what's going to happen in Australia, and we'll start with that. And as we progress through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we get kind of a storm that pops down there. It kind of impacts Perth a little bit. Another one to come on through, and then it is kind of falls apart, kind of drops through Queensland and then into the northern coast. So you might get some cool weather there for the wind, or next weekend, not this one, but the one to follow. And then that Siberian high kind of just progresses all the way to the North Pole. These heights, you see that little 570. I don't know if you can see that over there, but that in meteorology terms is warm weather. That's the kind of heat that would be sitting on and over essentially the North Pole. So that could be kind of festive to watch. And then is the heat. We'll just have a nice big old ridge. It's going to settle in across the middle part of the United States. So about time that we begin to see more summer-like temperatures taking shape. All right, temperatures, these were morning lows at about 10 o'clock Eastern, 8 in the Mountain West, and then I'm going to do a little refresh to bring us to current, and the 70s and 80s to wake up to in Texas quickly turn into 90s and low 100s, whereas it's still cool in the Mountain West and New England. Not too bad, 60s, but we're really close on sunset. And then the water vapor imagery, because the visible is kind of confusing. And this is that cluster of thunderstorms rolling south. It's just a slug water dropping south and a little dry air, dry over the southwest, kind of dry over the Mountain West, but yet there's another injection of cool air. Then back over Pennsylvania, New York, and up to the northeast, just kind of these rotating showers. So over PA, much wetter out to the west, and that'll probably be replicated or duplicated tonight. The conditions won't change that much. So this is Alberta, this guy right here, and this is the storm. All of that moisture just hitting those massive Canadian Rockies. Have these prairie elevations, 2,000, 3,000 feet, and then the Canadian Rockies, 12, 13, 14 plus thousand foot peaks. So that can wring out a lot of water as this kind of wrap around from the storm just hammers that area. And we look at the current radar just in the last day alone, Calgary being here, Edmonton, it's probably, right there at 0.71. So we'll see there's some of the scattered rainfall totals up in that direction. They're not huge, but it's going to be day after day after day of this kind of thing. And then Tennessee dealing with rain. Do you see these pulses? Boom, 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 boom. Memphis, boom, 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 boom. Around the radar sites. There are some folks, can't verify, can't disprove, that are saying that the radar, as they resonate the water molecule, has an impact on the storm's ability to remain. I see this all the time. Is it what's causing it? What's causing the surging? Is it they're tuning and the radar is actually changing its sensitivity, or is it something else? That's kind of outside of where I've been. Here's the national radar, other area that's kind of popping up, and these that begin to develop in West Texas tend to go for a couple of hours, especially when they ignite this time of day. So that's probably going to be someplace that'll be interesting to watch, especially if we get connection up here from what's in the North Texas Panhandle. That could be a little festive. And then, more and more showers, just kind of more showers. It's summer. These afternoon thunderstorms just kind of pop up. That's just the way it's. So let's come here. Let's hit the precip. and we'll run this, find your location, and I'll run this out about 2 weeks, so just right at 240 hours. And then here's the heavy rains. There's the potential flooding through Edmonton, Calgary, and Alberta, the west. Sorry, guys, not a lot. Maybe the Colorado Rockies because we can get some of that moisture up from Texas and forced up in there. But elsewhere, it looks like it's going to be fairly reasonable. Kind of a nice weekend as we move on through. And then the big rains, again, on either side of the United States into Western Canada and then Western Mexico. I'd love to see these ranges, the Sierra Madre and so forth, especially this time of year when it would be great to see you over there. So dry in the Southwest. And yeah, not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. Thanks for stopping by, and we will catch you once again tomorrow. And Gee's Coffee Break Show is in the morning. And then Tracy Wilson will have her Unlocked show tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock Mountain. All right, have a great evening. Take care. Keep it up, guys.